Today we are sitting down with something that feels a bit different from the usual CRM conversation, and that is Attio. Now, if you have used traditional CRMs before, you already know the pattern. They feel heavy, setup takes time, and adapting them to your actual workflow becomes a project on its own. So what we're doing here is looking at Attio from a very practical angle, not just what it offers, but how it actually works when you start using it day to day. Let's get started. So let's start from the beginning. When you first enter Attio, the core idea becomes clear pretty quickly. It revolves around objects. You have companies, people, deals, and then a few more like workspaces and users. That might sound standard at first, but here's where things shift a bit. The system does not wait for you to manually build everything. Instead, once you connect your email, it starts creating records automatically. Every contact, every company you interact with, it starts to appear inside your CRM. Now, this matters more than it sounds, because usually the biggest friction in a CRM is data entry, and here Attio reduces that from day one. It also enriches that data, so instead of just a name and email, you start seeing LinkedIn profiles, job roles, company size, and even relationship strength. That last part is interesting because it gives you context. You can see how often your team interacts with a company, when the last touchpoint happened, and what's coming next. So now you're not just storing contacts, you're actually understanding relationships. Then we move into customization, and this is where Attio gets quite flexible. You're not locked into a fixed structure. You can create your own attributes. Let's say you want to track monthly revenue, deal priority, or customer type. You just create a field, choose the data type, and it's live. And then you can take it further by creating relationships between objects. For example, you might want to define a main point of contact for each company. So you create a relationship between people and companies, set it to one-to-one, and now every company has a clear contact person. And what's nice here is that you can pull data across that relationship. So from a company record, you can directly access that person's email or role without jumping around. Now let's talk about deals, because this is where most teams spend their time. Attio gives you a pipeline view, both in table and Kanban format. You can move deals across stages, track progress, and manage everything in a structured way, but the real value comes from how this connects with automation. So imagine this, a new lead comes in through a form or product signup. Instead of manually assigning it, Attio can automatically create a deal, assign it to a sales rep, and place it in the correct stage. And this is based on conditions, maybe company size, maybe funding, maybe product usage. You define the logic and it runs in the background. This brings us to workflows, which is honestly one of the strongest parts of Attio. There are two types you'll notice. One is human-triggered. That means you or your team click something and a process runs. The other is system-triggered. That means something happens and the workflow reacts automatically. Let's break one down in a simple way. Say a deal moves to closed won. At that moment, Attio can update the company status to customer, create a task for onboarding, and notify your team. And if required fields are missing, like deal value, it can even push the deal back and alert you. So you maintain data quality without manual checks. Now, let's shift a bit into lists, because this is another concept that feels small at first but becomes very useful. A list is basically a focused workspace for a specific process. It could be event attendees, onboarding customers, or even recruitment. What makes lists interesting is that they can have their own attributes, so you're not cluttering your main database. You're adding context only where it matters. And then you can attach workflows to these lists, so adding someone to a list can trigger emails, update statuses, or assign tasks, all from that single action. Now, we should talk about AI, because Attio positions itself as an AI-first CRM. And here, the feature called Ask Attio is worth exploring. It works like a chat interface inside your CRM. You can ask it to prepare you for a meeting, summarize recent interactions, or even analyze customer objections across calls and emails. So instead of digging through notes and transcripts, you just ask a question and get a structured answer. It can also draft follow-up emails based on your conversations, and the key part is that it uses your actual CRM data, so the output feels relevant, not generic. But at the same time, it doesn't fully replace manual thinking. You still need to review what it suggests, so it acts more like a co-pilot than a decision maker. Now let's move into reporting, because this is where leadership usually looks. Attio gives you multiple report types. You can see current pipeline status, historical trends, conversion rates, and time spent in each stage. And since your data model is flexible, your reports can go beyond just deals. You can analyze customer growth, product usage, or even churn patterns. So the reporting adapts to your business, not the other way around. So who is this really for? If you're a startup, a growing SaaS company, or even a product-led business, Attio fits quite naturally. It connects product data, customer data, and sales workflows in one place, and it does that without heavy setup. If you're a large enterprise with strict processes, it can still work, but it might require more planning. So overall, what we're seeing here is a CRM that tries to move away from rigid systems. It focuses on flexibility, automation, and real-time context. And while it's not perfect in every area, it does solve a very real problem, which is making CRM actually usable on a daily basis. And that in itself changes how teams interact with their data. That was all. Thanks for watching. If you found it helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more videos. And don't forget to share your experience in the comments.